Welcome back. This is part 2 of the first lesson in the first unit of Standard 10 English course book, Adventures in a Banyan Tree by Ruskin Bott. In the last part, we dealt with a short summary of the story and the major events of the story. In this part, we will be dealing with some types of questions that may appear for the examination. You are familiar with the types of questions that may come from the prose lesson. There may be questions for analyzing textual passages, constructing discourses, and using language elements. Sometimes the questions for using language elements may be asked along with textual passage questions. Sometimes it may be asked independently also. Let's have a look at the types of questions. Textual passages. A passage from the text will be given, and what the child is expected to do is read the passage well, and after reading the passage you can answer the questions given below that. So what you have to do is you can pause the video and read the passage and then move on to the question. I will be moving directly to the question. You have to pause it, read it, and then move to the questions. So after reading this passage, you can answer the questions given. These are the questions. Who was the first friend of the boy? Why did the squirrel resent the boy's presence? How did the squirrel get acquainted with the boy? What would the friends and relatives of the squirrel think? Pick out a word from the passage that means to search something inside something. So in this question you have to read the whole passage again, see that the meaning is given here, see the word which has the similar meaning. And towards the last part, you have a question from language elements. Pick out the noun phrase in the subject position in the following sentence. So these are questions. There may be 5 or 6 questions for the examination also. So you can answer these questions by reading the passage. You can visit the passage again by scrolling your video backwards and read the passage, pausing the video, and come back and answer the questions. Similar question 2 is, this is another passage from the text. Read it carefully, and while reading you can even note down the difficult words, some unfamiliar or the words that you will be finding difficult to find the meaning. You can mark those words, because most probably vocabulary based questions will be from such words. So that again should be noted. These are the questions. Why did the members of the house stay indoors? When did the boy think of going to the pond? Identify the sentence which shows that the cobra was also affected by the heat. Again a vocabulary question. Pick out the word from the passage that means tired and almost asleep. Say a language element question. The cobra and the mongoose. saw each other. Frame a sentence of the same pattern, changing the noun phrases. Instead of the noun phrases are the cobra and the mongoose. You have to change those two words and frame a sentence with the same pattern. So that's the task. Here we have 5 questions. We will move on to the third passage. Question number 3. Read the passage again. Mark the difficult words and move on to the questions. Here are the questions. What's the same course mentioned in the passage? What did the myna do? What did the cobbler do to the crow? Why does the boy consider the myna to be wise? And here comes again the vocabulary question. Means a branch of a plant where a bird sits. So that should be answered. We'll move on to the next. Question number 4. Again, textual passage. Read it carefully. Mark difficult words. Go to the questions. Questions are: where did the squirrel start building its first nest? The members of the family hunted for the knitting everywhere, but the search was in dash. You can use any one of the words given below: missing, vein, glinting, indoors. Where did the boy see grandmother's knitting? What did the boy find inside the knitting? The boy searched for grandmother's knitting. Begin the sentence with grandmother's knitting. You have to start with grandmother's knitting and complete the sentence reading the question sentence. Okay. These are some of the textual passages that may occur for the examination, that may appear for the examination, and you can practice it. We will move on to some discourses. One is the narrative. Narrative, as all of you know, narrative means the story. After you have read the whole story from your textbook, you are asked to prepare a narrative based on your reading. So you can remember the events that I mentioned in part 1. If you keep those events in your mind, you can very easily write the narrative. See, The Adventures in a Banyan Tree is a story of a young boy who loved to sit in an old banyan tree in his grandfather's house. The boy had a small baby squirrel as his first friend in the tree. The squirrel became friendly with the boy. The rest passages you should read. Pause the video, read the passages. At the same time, so starting with that passage, and you can read the rest of the passage. So if you keep in mind these points, you can write the narrative. Even though you cannot write in such a fully manner or in a detailed manner, you can write a brief narrative. So grandfather told the boy that the white rat must be the father of the baby squirrels. Rats and squirrels were related to each other, and so they could have white baby squirrels. So it's a sample narrative. You can read it, pausing the video. Second one is a conversation. Here we are asked to write a conversation between the boy and the grandfather after seeing the fight between the cobra and the mongoose. So the boy starts the conversation. Grandpa, I saw a horrible fight. Grandpa, fight? What was it? You seem to be frightened, don't you? Boy, yes, it was a fight between a mongoose and a cobra. See, you can read the rest of the conversation. See how the conversation goes. Pause the video and read the conversation. Grandfather, oh yes, what happened then? So the conversation continues. You may pause the video and read the whole conversation. After reading the whole conversation, you should get an idea of how to write a conversation. Another discourse is diary writing or diary entry. Here, after that fight, he writes that incident in his diary. Can give a date and a day. Oh, it was a horrible day today. I was sitting on the platform on the tree reading a book. Like that it goes. Pause the video and read the whole diary entry. The mongoose jumped aside and bit the cobra, and there was a third round of fight. You may pause the video and read the whole diary entry and get an idea of how to write a diary entry. With this, we end the part 2 of our class, and I'll be coming up with part 3 in the next video. Until then, thank you.